What's good, YouTube? My name's Devin, and I'm a beginner to intermediate day trader. Um, I specifically trade small cap stocks with high relative volume on breaking news. In other words, basically, I just trade momentum. Um, my strategy is mostly based off of Warrior Trading, Ross Cameron's strategy. So if you're interested in that type of trading or want to learn more about it, I'd recommend like going to his channel and just kind of looking at what he does. That's basically where I got my start from and all this. I've been trading for about almost 2 years now. I started in August of 2024, so a couple months, it'll be 2 years. And yeah, I mean it's been a wild ride since I've started, but I've learned so much. And basically, with this channel, I kind of just want to use it as an outlet and to hopefully like grow a community of just like-minded traders um, who trade all sorts of stuff, not even just momentum, just in general. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I just basically want to be able to hopefully meet other traders like myself. I'm sure like if you trade yourself, you know like how this is, more of a isolating career, more or less. So it's just nice to be able to talk to like people who think the same, see the same stuff. I live with my folks, my parents, so I talk to trading all the time with them, but I'm sure they're sick of it because it's like they can't really relate to what I'm talking to. So that's part of the reason why I created this, to hopefully be able to talk about trading with people who kind of think like me. Um, but yeah, with that said, I'm not really sure what this first video is going to be, to be honest. I think what I want to do first is probably talk about like my history up to this point in my career. Um, so this is like my equity curve since I've started. And the thing about equity curves and trading, it's kind of cool because it really tells like a story of a trader, and mine you can see is all over the place. um, so yeah, I can kind of just break it down, I guess. But so this is when I started back in July, August time frame. Um, for a while, I used really small size with what I was trying to do with my strategy. My strategy has grown a lot since then, but I played it pretty smart. I mean, I didn't begin with a simulator or paper trading. I just went in and basically started with real money, but I used small size to begin with. I should have probably stayed with small size a little like longer, because I did kind of started ramping it up a little too soon, which basically led to me going into immediate drawdown, as you can see. So basically, for the first 6 months, I lost money. Went all the way down about $1,300. I want to say close to 1,300. And I mean, yeah, that was kind of a brutal time. I mean, I kind of just jumped the gun a little too quick. Like I said, like I probably should have stuck to smaller size, but I dug a hole, which is common in trading. But I was really smart. I was really disciplined. I tightened it up, and then I just focused on basically risk management. Like in this time frame from basically January 2025 to this whole stretch I had was so just like risk management based, and then also a hot market kind of happened at the same time. So it was kind of like a perfect storm. And so you know, you could see like I basically stopped really going into deep drawdown. Like I would, have moments where I'd lose, but it'd always get, go back up basically. And during this stretch, specifically this stretch right here, I mean, I was doing really well. My confidence was high. I was, just really disciplined with my risk management. Um, but what made it difficult, and not just, in trading, like obviously trading is difficult as it is, but just in general, like this whole time I've been trading in a cash account. So I'm not sure if you guys know the cash account, what that is versus a margin account. If you trade, I'm sure you know, but if you don't, basically a cash account is a trading account where you can trade as much as you want, but you can only trade on settled funds. So depending on how much money you have, like in this account I have $1,000. Once I trade this dollar amount and I use up all my buying power, I have to wait till the next day until I can start trading again. And so what makes that difficult is that each trade you take, in the back of your mind, you know that you just spent a little bit of buying power. And so with that in your mind, it makes it that much harder to cut a trade when you need to. And so that's part of the reason why I kind of, had this drawdown period right here. And so just dealing with that makes trading pretty difficult. And so if with the margin account, because of the PDT rule, you need at least 25,000 to be able to have a margin account. And with the margin account, you can basically trade as much as you want. And so that's a big thing for me. Is what I'm trying to do is I'm really trying to get to that point where I can just trade freely, because this run I had, I was able to manage my risk. I was still in a cash account, but I was so disciplined with my risk regardless of that I was able to still make money. But I know personally, like if I didn't have to even deal with the cash account restriction, I feel like I would have been able to keep this going, to be honest with you. Like that's just my opinion. But you could see though, like around this time I began to plateau, and I think it was a mix of like the market cooling off and also my risk management not being as tight as it really was. Because even though I was managing my risk, like I said, like in a cash account, you can it's tough to manage risk regardless how well you're doing. Like, if you know that you just spent X amount of money on the last trade, and let's say this is basically your last trade because this is the rest of the money you have left, you're not gonna want to push that sell button when you need to. So around this time I kind of like struggled with that, and you can see like I was making higher highs, higher lows, and then eventually I just kind of flatten out, and then it gets super choppy. And this is when I should have scaled down, but I didn't. And you could see like how I'm just kind of fighting with myself almost. I mean, this looks crazy. This looks like somebody's EKG that just, I don't even know. Like, it just does not look good. But you can just kind of see like how crazy it looks. And basically I give back all my profits I made around this time. This is from about January to July, this whole stretch. And then after that, my confidence kind of went down. I wasn't as consistent. I didn't really size down until basically all the way down here when I was back in drawdown, which was tough for me because when I was doing as well as I was, to go back down that was mentally, that was tough. And so I've been in this kind of drawdown period for a while now. I kind of took a break. I didn't take a break from trading, but I definitely like scaled back a lot. Like I haven't used big size in a while. That's why my P&L isn't as like crazy as it was up here. And so yeah, so today, April 3rd, that's today's date, 2026. I'm trading with like basically I trade with like one share right now, simply because I'm trying to get back to basically just focusing on the process of what I'm trying to do and just act like that I am in a margin account and that I'm not trading in a cash account. Because I know for as long as I trade in a cash account, I'm always going to deal with that burden of not being able to sell when I need to and manage my risk properly. And so yeah, that's the mindset I have right now. And the reason why I'm trading like that is because of the PDT rule that is going into effect pretty soon. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but on April 14th, I believe, the SEC, Security Exchange Commissions, has to make a decision on this new PDT proposal that was made by FINRA to lower the PDT rule to $2,000 instead of it being 25,000. So there's a lot of optimism right now in the markets, and a lot of people believe that this rule is going to be lowered. So if it does, this is going to open things up for not just myself, but like for a lot of other traders out there. So I'm just trying to prepare myself for it and just basically like act like I'm in a margin account now, so I don't have to like try to like make that transition mentally in my head, and just get used to like using one share and pretending like, okay, like I'm in a margin account, I can get in when I want to, I can get out when I need to. And so yeah, that's like my whole mindset right now, is just to like emulate that as much as possible. And that's another reason why I made this channel, is like I want to if I can like inspire or like influence people to do the same, like I think that'd be like a huge advantage in the market right now. Like if you just practice having that margin account now, I think it's going to go a long way in the future, you know. So yeah, that's a little backstory about my trading, what I've done, how, like, you know, what it's looked like. So I think now I could probably show a recap of my last trade I took. That was yesterday, Thursday, April 2nd. So that was on this stock right here, SKYQ. So this one, so like I said, I trade momentum. I trade breaking news. The news catalyst for this trade, it was oil. It was basically an oil play. So SKYQ was basically the only operating refinery in Nevada. And so because of this, basically they have no competition when it comes to refining oil. And with oil being, you know, at 110 per barrel, because of the Middle East conflict, this thing really like had a huge move. I think it went up over 100%. Yes, like 140, almost 150%. So yeah, I mean, this is a really strong play. So my strategy specifically, what I do is I basically I'm trading. My favorite type of to trade to make on these breaking news setups is a 5-minute pullback. I find that the 5-minute pullback is just it's a really consistent trade. A lot of people who follow Ross, they trade like 1-minute pullbacks, and 1-minute pullbacks work as well, but the hit rate isn't as high because you're just gonna get a lot more false breakouts because you're on the 1-minute chart. And think about the 1-minute, like basically the lower chart you go time frame wise, there's gonna be more false breakouts. There's gonna be more noise because it's a really short time frame. So the 5-minute chart, I like it because it usually, if it breaks, it gives a good move. It gives a good follow through on the move. So I record all my trades, so I think I'm gonna show the trades I took. So so with this specific trade, I actually got in a little earlier. I've been trading for a while now, like I said, almost 2 years. So yeah, there's certain things I see that I'll, you know, do just kind of based off intuition. And so I had confidence that this was probably gonna break this level, but I also had confidence that this was gonna definitely hold this $3 level. And if it didn't, then I would just get out for a small loss if I had to. But you can see here I get in at $3, and I do this because, well, one, VWAP is at 295. So with VWAP being so close to the $3 whole dollar level, I was really confident this was gonna hold. $3 like whole dollar levels also, they're good psychological levels. So basically at that point I have two confluences. I have the VWAP at 295 and I have this whole dollar level at $3. So if price dips below 295, boom, I'm getting out for a 5-cent loss. Now if this does go and end up breaking this level right here and goes higher, I mean, we're talking about a 30 cent, 40 cent winner. So I'm risking 5 cents to make about 30 cents, you know. So that's the type of trades you can get and risk reward you can get trading small caps. So I mean, yeah, that's it's basically like the fundamental reason why I trade small caps. You can manage your risk pretty tight and get some good like risk to reward on your trades. So you can see here it breaks this level right. It's not yet, but through this 315 level is what I'm looking for. As soon as it breaks this, basically I'm looking for this to go up pretty quick. This was a more of a cheaper stock, so when it comes to these cheaper stocks, they don't move as quick, especially when the spread is so tight. But yeah, you can see as it breaks 315, you'll see the follow through go pretty quick after this. But yeah, I mean that's like I'm up 15 cents a share right now. I got in at 3. You can see this thing starting to pump. So 330, see that squeeze up to about 335, 340. So that was about a 30 cent, 20 to that was about 32 cent winner right there. So that's the type of trades I take on it. That 5-minute pullback is a really good trade, especially since when it comes to shorts in the market, people who are short sellers, they tend to when they short these stocks, they use these highs right here, this high, this 315, as basically their stop. So, and with a good catalyst like this, when you see price starting to push that high, you can feel pretty good about getting in for a break. Now, breakout trading, it doesn't always work. Obviously, like nothing always works, but within the right context and with enough screen time, you can make some good money trading like this. So yeah, that's one of the trades I took. Another trade I took was this dip trade. So I also take dips. A dip trade is basically when you're buying when price is falling rather than going up. So the first trade I took was a breakout trade, more or less. Well, I mean, I took it. I got in a little early, but it was more or less a breakout trade. So this trade I took the dip trade. Dip trades, these are a little harder just because they have a lower hit rate, simply because you're buying when price is falling. And when you buy when price is falling, you're essentially kind of taking more risk on because you don't know if it's going to go back up. So on this one, I got in at 405, but I waited a little longer, simply because the 9 EMA, which is what I was trying to buy off of on the 1 minute, this was at closer to 4, and I think I got in around like 405. So I should have waited till it flushed a little bit lower. But basically, what I'm trying to do though, I'm trying to buy along this 9 EMA on the 1 minute. This is a very common place for momentum traders to buy when something's moving up. And so, yeah, when you see price, especially if it's gone up like this, like the way SKYQ went, I mean, it just went up. Look how many candles that's crazy. So when you see that, and you see that first pullback, especially if the 9 EMA is pulling back at a whole dollar level, so like I said before, that $3 whole dollar level on the first trade I took, it has a lot more conviction because of that psychological support there. Those whole dollar levels tend to hold more than random arbitrary levels like a 470 or 425. Like anything that's like basically $3, $3.50, $4, those are always going to hold more usually. So this level is at $4 right here, but because the levels at $4, you also have the 9 EMA at $4, that makes this like basically a double confluence. Like again, like the other one was a $3 level with the 295 VWAP right there. This one has the 9 EMA and the $4 level right here. So when you have like those type of confluences stacked on top of each other, you can feel pretty good about the trade. So right here I get back in, which is a much better entry at 402. and now I'm just waiting for this thing to squeeze up. I mean, basically, as soon as I got in, this thing started going up. I'm already up like 10 cents a share on this trade. But yeah, so those are basically the two setups I take. I like to take 5-minute breakouts, 5-minute pullback breakouts, and then 1-minute dips along the 9 EMA when the stock is in an uptrend. Stock can't be in a downtrend on dips. You can't do that, but yeah, that's basically what I'm looking for. You can see price squeezes up in a little bit here. Yeah, it's pushing 440, and you can see same thing. It like has that squeeze up along this break right here. So boom, 460. I mean, I'm up 50 cents a share alone on this trade. So I mean, you can kind of do the math. So that's why I like to trade with 1 cent, because it's like I get a realistic perspective what is possible with trading. So 50 cents a share, if you do the math, on 100 shares that's $50. On 1,000 shares that's 500. On 10,000 shares that's 5,000. So obviously you can see, like, when it comes to trading, you can really scale this thing up. But in order to be able to do that, you have to focus on the craft first, like the actual skill set. And that's why I trade with 1 share right now, because it's like I know if I can make 20, 30 cents a share a day, that can be life-changing money, once you scale it up and you have the confidence to scale it up, most importantly. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Going forward, I think I'm planning to do mostly trading recaps on this channel and just kind of talk about my perspective on the markets. And yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be for this channel mostly. We'll see how things go, but yeah, hopefully I get to grow this channel, meet new people, talk trading, talk life, whatever. But yeah, I think that'll do it.